Welcome to Fish Farming TV. Today I want to do some estimate for you about the return on investment for 1,000 pieces of catfish. This estimate is just for, I'm using 1,000 pieces of catfish as a case study, and if you are culturing more than 1,000, maybe 50,000, 100,000 catfish, you can use this estimate, multiply it to the amount of fish you are culturing. And if you are doing below, let's say 500, you divide this estimate by 2. So I want to quickly show you the estimate. If you are doing fish farming, you have to know how to do this calculation. If not, you will run into loss. And sometimes you will culture fish, you don't know what to feed the fish, you don't know the amount of feed that you are going to feed their fish. On this video, I will show you and I will tell you the amount and the quantity of fish feed that your fish is supposed to consume for them to get to the size that you can sell. Now let's go back to the topic. The return on investment for 1,000 pieces of 1 kg table sized catfish. Things to consider before you can start stocking your catfish. You have to consider some things before you stock your catfish, and it's very, very important to consider some of these things if you want to have gain after the culturing of this catfish. You have to consider some of these things that I'm going to mention. Number one on the list is the seed. The seed is the most important part of the culturing of catfish. You have to look for where to get good seed, or if you know how to do hatching, you can hatch on your own and stock the best seed in your farm. So sometimes you go and buy some catfish that are not good. Maybe you go to where they have sold all the fresh shooters, they have sold everything, and you came late and they gave you the runs. Then at the end of the day, after feeding, you will not get any result. So the seed is very, very important. If you are culturing the catfish, you have to get good seed for you to see results. It's very, very important. And the next one there is the stocking density. Don't stock more than what the pond can carry. It will make the fish not to grow well. So space your fish very well. If you know that your pond can only contain 500 or 1,000 catfish, stock 1,000 catfish. Don't stock more than 1,000. If your pond is 1,000 capacity and you go and stock like 2,000 or 2,500, they will not do well on that pond. So stock them very well. Calculate if they tell you that this pond is for 2,000, make sure you stock 2,000 or lesser. Don't stock more than 2,000. Or if it's 1,000, stock 1,000. Don't stock more than 1,000. The next thing on my list there is the financial capacity. This fish farming now is now capital intensive, so you need finance to run this business. Things are really hard now, because if you check the price of feed in the market now, you will know that it's not really easy. Fish farming is not really easy now, more especially if you don't have the finance. So if you have finance, you can do it and do what you can culture. Don't go and put what you cannot culture. For instance, you know that you can comfortably culture 1,000 catfish, and you go and buy like 5,000 and stock there, and you start feeding them with the feed that you are supposed to feed 1,000 fish. At the end of the day, you run into loss. You will even be struggling to get your capital back. So stock what you can actually culture. So it is financially what I'm trying to say now is financial intensive now. So try everything possible to stock what you can culture. What I have there on my list again is the availability of water. Make sure that you have water in your pond. That is, if you don't have water, make sure that you site a pond where there is availability of water, maybe near the stream, or you have to sunk a borehole. You don't go and be depending on maybe buying water or this to culture fish. It doesn't work that way. Make sure you have a stable running water anytime you need water in the farm, because there is sometimes you have an emergency in the farm, you need water and you start looking for where to get water. So make sure that water is always available in your pond, in your farm. So the next one there is the management practice. You have to manage your farm very well. If you don't know how to manage your farm, you can run into loss. So management is another key important factor when culturing catfish. So you need the management practice. Manage your fish very well. know when to feed them, know when to change water, know when they need treatment, know when they need anything, so that you will not run into loss. So what we are trying to calculate is the cost of catfish juvenile. We are trying to stock like 1,000 juvenile in your farm. This thing is the case study that we have at hand now. So the cost of 1,000 juvenile is 100 naira. It depends on where you are buying from, but the range is from 70 to 100 naira. Depends on the place that you are buying from, but I'm using 100 naira as the highest amount that you can get in anywhere. So the weight of that 1,001 juvenile is around 10 grams. So at this point now, since you are stocking 1,000, we are going to be putting 1,200, because at the end of the cultivation period, at the end of the culturing period, we'll be expecting around 1,000 fish. So you have to put like 1,002 on your pond. So the price of this thing is around 120,000 naira if you are buying 1,200 juvenile at the rate of 100 naira. So what else is there? The cost of feeding. So we'll be talking about the cost of feeding this catfish. It's very, very important. Feeding is the main thing in fish farming. You don't put fish in the pond and start looking for what you will give that fish. You understand? You really need finance to do that. Or after stocking fish, you start going to get some things that are not good for the fish, and you'll be leaving them. At the end of the day, you'll be hoping to get something out of it. You will not get anything. So you have to follow the proper procedure. So the cost of feeding this catfish is this. Number one, we will get 4 bags of 2 mm feed. Each of that feed is 45% crude protein. At the current price now is 33,200. Today that I'm making this video, you understand, is 33,200. So the cost of 4 bags multiplied by this, it will give you 132,800. And number 2 on my list here is you get 11 bags of 3 mm feed. It still has the same 45% crude protein at 28,950, which will give you 318,450. Mind you, when feeding this fish, as far as you are stocking 1,000, you feed them accordingly, because fish doesn't eat the same quantity of feed every day, because sometimes due to the temperature and the weather